7 out of 10 people are wasting hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on Medicare because of one simple, easy-to-fix mistake. And the worst part is that most of the time, you won't realize that you've made this mistake until it's too late to do anything about it.
I'm too late!
So you'll end up paying a lot more for your Medicare than you need to for an entire year. And the mistake I'm talking about is failing to review your annual notice of change. And here's why this is such a big mistake. A lot of Medicare plans change every year. I'm talking about Medicare Advantage plans and prescription drug plans. And there's only one letter that they will send you in the mail that will tell you about these changes. You might even be losing your plan entirely, and you would never know this unless you read this one letter. Your annual notice of change is the only document that tells you things like if you're losing coverage next year, if your favorite doctor is no longer in the network, or if your premium has gone up. And if you catch this in September, you can always shop for new plans that can potentially save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for the following year. But here's the big thing. 7 out of 10 people, yes, 7 out of 10 people don't shop for new plans every year. But you could potentially save a lot of money if your plan is changing and if you're willing to switch to a plan that better suits your need. So let's talk about this letter, when to expect it, and what to do about it. Every September, your Medicare Advantage plan or your Medicare Part D prescription drug plan should send you your annual notice of change. It's really easy to accidentally throw it in the trash or to miss the email if you receive things digitally. So you have to watch out for this letter. Again, if you signed up for the ANOC electronically, then it's not a letter, it's actually coming to your inbox, and it may sometimes accidentally go to your spam folder. So you need to be looking for it. The deadline for plans to send you this is September 30th, and if you haven't received it by then, you need to contact your insurance company because this is a very important document. Your annual notice of change, or ANOC for short, goes over all the changes your Medicare Advantage plan or Medicare Part D plan is going to make for the following year. This includes premium changes, changes to the drug formulary, doctors and facilities going in or out of network, and more. And it's usually a pretty big document. It sometimes comes like a booklet, in the form of a booklet, so it can be pretty intimidating for some people because there's a lot of information in there. But again, I really want to stress how important it is to review your annual notice of changes this year more than any year in the past. And I'm going to show you why. 2025 is an unprecedented year for Medicare, and it could change a lot of what's in your plan. CMS, or the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, has introduced a lot of regulation for Medicare Advantage and prescription drug plans in 2025. In addition to that, the Inflation Reduction Act has introduced the $2,000 maximum out-of-pocket for prescription drug plans. But what we're finding is that some people are going to have much higher premiums on their prescription drug plan because the insurance companies have to make back the money that they're going to be giving when it comes to your maximum out-of-pocket. And we're seeing that several big insurance companies are also exiting Medicare Advantage markets across the country. If you want to learn more about that, I have a whole video on all of the exits that are happening throughout the country and all the plans that are going away. But the point is that there are big changes that are coming in 2025, and you really don't want to just renew your plan without looking at what these changes are because things might be getting a lot more expensive for you. Now, to make matters worse, if you don't change while you can, you might realize that your plan is a lot more expensive in January when it's too late to make changes. Another mistake I often see people make is only looking at the changes to their premium. Guys, remember that there's a lot more to your plan than just the premium. Let me give you a quick example of seemingly harmless changes that can actually cost you a lot of money. Here's a sample of drug plan tiers. Now let's say that the prescription you're taking costs $600 per refill but falls under Tier 3 this year in 2024, so that's a $47 copay every time that you refill your prescription. But let's say, for example, that next year in 2025 they bump it to a Tier 4 and you don't review your annual notice of changes. Suddenly on the next refill you'll have to pay $270 instead of $47 because the tier changed. So that's $223 more a month every time you get a refill. Now you can see that that adds up to a lot of money. Money that you could have saved if you took the time to review your annual notice of change. There are a lot of other seemingly small changes that can come up in the annual notice of change that can actually have a big impact on your expenses. But the good news is if you review the changes and spot something you don't like, you can easily change your plan and avoid getting caught off guard. Hey, before I talk about how and when to change your plan, let me just jump in here and say that if you're finding this video helpful, please hit the thumbs up button. This not only helps us, but it also helps the video to reach other people who aren't aware of how important it is to review their annual notice of changes. Also, if you want more updates like this, please be sure to hit subscribe. We're planning to release several videos about the upcoming changes in 2025 to help you avoid costly mistakes like this one. All right, let me get back to the video. Each year, you can switch your Medicare Advantage plan or Medicare Part D prescription drug plan during the annual enrollment period, which runs from October 15th to December 7th, which we're currently in that period right now. So any changes that you make during this time will take effect on January 1st of 2025. That's why it's really important to shop around and look for plans that fit you best for the coming year. And even if you're okay with your plan's changes, it's still a good idea to shop around because who knows? Maybe you'll come across a plan that's significantly better for you than the one that you're currently enrolled in. So study your annual notice of change and compare the other plans available outside your area. Remember that other plans are changing too, and you're not going to get that information. You're only going to see what's changing on your plan. So even if your plan isn't having major changes, it could be that other plans around you are significantly improving and you're unaware of that. And that's the mistake that we see 7 out of 10 people make, is they don't look around to see what's available for the coming year, and they just stay with the plan they've always had. And oftentimes, sometimes it's even the insurance company that you have has released a new plan that includes your doctors, that includes your hospitals, that covers your prescriptions, but does it as a lower cost. It's kind of like when you have a cell phone. And your cell phone carrier, you've been on your cell phone carrier for 5 years, and they don't always bother to tell you that there's a better plan now. They just leave you on that plan because they're making money from you. And they make more money if you stay on that old, outdated plan. So we see a lot of scenarios where people with Medicare can improve their situation, can improve their costs, and in most cases can keep their doctors and hospitals while doing it and be in a better situation for the coming year, but they don't know it. So that's why it's not only important to review your annual notice of change document, but also to look around and see what has changed in the marketplace. And remember, if you ever need help understanding your annual notice of change document or comparing the different plan options, you can call or text us at 877-360-6565, and we'll gladly give you unbiased advice at no cost to you. So one of the biggest Medicare mistakes you can make is not reviewing your annual notice of changes. Yes, you might be able to get away with it in previous years, but this year is different. So when your annual notice of change arrives, by mail or email, make sure that you review it because there are bound to be some big changes in 2025. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more Medicare updates like this one.